Hello, hello, YouTube world. It is me, Andre David Warmsley. It's been a while coming at you on the date of January 21st, 2017. It's a beautiful day here in California. I'm in LA in the Arts District in my apartment, just kind of back to normal. Still healing my feet. Um, Feeling like I want to share something about my connections with the great show FX. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I thought I wanted to share about some really cool connections and share some stories that have to do with not only cast members of the show, but actual people that have been on the show that are my friends now that I've worked with, actually, professionally. First, the story of me moving to California and meeting Shannon McCain, or McKinnon, I forgot his name. But he's the guy that in the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, in which the gang hits the road and they want to take a road trip to the Grand Canyon, and they use Dee's car. They were drinking and they wanted to find somebody so Dee can drink. She didn't want to drive anymore, so they wanted to have somebody to drink while they can drive. And the guy that they pulled over was an actor named Shannon McCain. McCain. He does voiceover work right now for Transformers, the cartoon. And I was dating this girl out here within like a couple months of me living out here. I moved out here in 2013, turned 31 here, and been here for 3 years. And we were going to do some laundry. She wanted to do some laundry, and I was with her in Los Feliz, right near Gelson's, little laundromat over there off of like Fountain. And I see him just standing there, and I was like, "What's up, man? How you doing? Like, you were great in that show. That's really cool that you're on there. I'm an actor too. I just wanted to say what's up and all this other stuff, man. Cool." I didn't say it like that, but I kind of was. I just wanted him to know I was a fan. And he was like, "Wow, you remembered me?" I was like, "Of course, I love that show." And when you're on that show, that's you're in there, and that show is awesome. I always thought that show was really great. So that's one connection there. That was the first connection I had, like within like a couple months of me living here. I thought that was pretty cool. So I wanted to meet more people that had that had something to do with that show, and that was what when I moved out here. I was like, I want to meet people that have something to do with things that I like and love. That was the first one. I guess the second one would be that I had a friend that went to Yale for acting, and one of his friends was named an actor called Frank Kranz, who's been acting before, for a while. He's been in a lot of movies, and he was a friend of this mutual friend of mine, who was a friend of mine, and we partied a lot at Yale, and I had the chance and the opportunity to hang out with certain people of those Yale types, and yeah, partied with them, drank with them, rapped with them, talked with him, played music with him a couple times. I think we beatboxed, something. We did some cool stuff. And he was the one that inspected the poop in the episode of Who Pooped the Bed. That was him, a friend of mine. Yeah, so that's two. There was another one where the guy that sold them the boat, the gang buys a boat. The guy that sold them the boat was walking down the street as I was coming back from an audition on Sunset. Probably last year, and there was a car accident. Not too bad, but bad enough where it was loud and stopped traffic right in this intersection of Sunset and Normandy, no, Westerns. Yeah, Sunset and Western. And it was a man driving his pregnant wife, somewhere, and a girl came and hit them from behind, spun it around, boom, and we were like, "Oh man!" And the guy that was walking his dog was the guy that sold them the boat. The guy that sold them the boat was helping me help the people get out of their car because it was mangled up and it was smoking. So it was me and him, and we were talking. We were looking. Okay, you do this, you do this, and that was my connection with that. And I noticed that this is the guy that sold them the boat. But then we were just paying attention on these people. We took care of them. Everything was okay, but this woman was kind of jostled, and the husband gets out and is like, "Oh my God, my wife's pregnant! My wife's pregnant!" Excuse me. And we helped them, me and the guy that sold them the boat. That's 3 connections. This was all in LA. I guess the 4th connection would be there's an actress called Sonia Jackson who you've probably seen in a lot of movies. She was in Jurassic Park. She was in Death Becomes Her, which is a great movie. And she was the one in the episode where supposedly Charlie's ex-girlfriend had a child, and this woman said it was his child, and he had to parade the child around and take him places. Took him to the hospital because he got sick and he drank too much alcohol at the bar. The woman who turned over and said, "Do you got AIDS?" Sonia Jackson. And then Charlie was like, "No, I don't." And then she said, "I'll blow you for $20. And that was her line, "I'll blow you for $20. And this was Sonia Jackson. I met her through the same girlfriend that I met Shannon from. The same girl, same actress. And she was, she's the one that basically had this play that she had written. And she wanted me to be the production designer on the play. I mean, a production assistant. Production manager. And I failed horribly at it. I was pretty bad at it. I'd never done that before. I've always admired the people from being an actor and doing plays. I've always admired those people and having those responsibilities of being able to do that. I had to just do that as best as I could, and I think the actresses were like, "This dude, what the hell is wrong with this dude?" And then, yeah. So I was production manager on a play of hers, and she's a friend of mine. Yeah. So that's 4 connections. There's another connection, too. Almost walked into Rex, in a sea of people at Santa Monica Pier. Almost ran into Artemis, who was going into Gelson's, and I was coming out like this, and we almost hit each other. And I was like, "That was Artemis." And I was with a good friend of mine, Idris Morehoff, and he was like, "Just go say what up to her." But that would have been that would have been pretty stalker, I felt. That would have been that would have been like too much, way too much. To go all up in the store back and try to find her. So I did not do that. The best story, I think, is that when I was working at Fox Studios, I got to be a waiter over there, and the night before the gig, I was playing piano, and I got really excited what I was doing, and I lit a cigarette up, and I threw the lighter like, "Yeah, hey, woo!" And it fell into this glass that I was drinking. I was having a little bit of a drink, and it fell into the glass and broke the glass. And I tried to get the lighter out of the glass, and I cut myself. Can't see it, but I cut myself, and I needed a Band-Aid, and I was like, "Oh man, I got to serve food tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to go and make sure that this is all cleaned up." And I brought a Band-Aid. I didn't bring an extra one. I only had one. I got to Fox Studios, and I told him that I needed a Band-Aid. He was like, "Well, there's no Band-Aids here, so you're gonna have to go to the infirmary, try to find something at the infirmary." So when I went to go to the infirmary, I couldn't find it. Fox Studios was so huge. So I just basically walked around until I could find what I thought would look like a hospital, and found the set of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Walking up to it, I see to my left, I see Rob McElhenney, and I'm like right here. We're walking up the same road, and I could see Rob, and I'm like, hey, oh, what's up, Rob? What's going on? And I'd say hello to him, and just being very nice and excited about meeting him because I'm a huge fan of the show. I love the show. I love everything about the show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I think it's one of the best shows of all time. Comedic shows of all time. They hit all the bases and they have something about them. Caitlin Olsen, Charlie Day, Glenn Howerton, and Rob McElhenney, and Danny DeVito, of course, legend. So I basically got to meet him. This is 8:30 in the morning, before my shift even started. So I shake his hand, and we meet each other and shake each other's hand, and I ask him, like, how can I get a Band-Aid, man? He's like, oh, my friend security guard can get you the Band-Aid, no problem. I was like, oh, man, thanks, congratulations on everything. He's like, yeah, no problem, man, thank you. Goes to his trailer, and I'm like, I can see that, like, now I can see into, like, where the studio is, Stage 17, Fox Studios. And I talked to the security guard. He turns out to be like this Vietnam commando. He's pretty bored, so he's like talking to me about like war stories, talking to me about everything, like crazy stuff, which is very interesting. And he gives me like a couple extra Band-Aids, and I walk back, and I'm like, man, Caitlin Olsen could be in there, like Charlie Day could be in there, like this is really cool. And as an actor, it's really cool to be around people who, basically had such a type of a show that's so guerrilla warfare type of, underground, independent type of shooting with like a video camera for the first 2 seasons, I think, and then upgraded like that. That to me was like really cool. And this was like 2004, 2003, 2004. I think they started, and I thought that was really cool that they started so underground type. And I walk back, getting back to the story, I walk back into work, finish out my shift, and a buddy of mine who got a whole bunch of money from this game show wanted to make a movie, and I was working with him as a waiter at the commissary. And we're walking back, and we're walking into the garage, the parking garage, and I can see somebody's coming down the stairs from like the top floor and then coming down into the parking garage. And I can see that it looks like Charlie. And it was Charlie. It was him. And I remember a long time ago, I said, if I see him, because I know where he's from, and if I see him, I'm going to say this. And what I said was, what's up, Charlie? How you doing? He's like, what's up, man? I'm walking closer to him. He's putting his stuff in his car. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm from Middletown, too. And he was like, really? Are you kidding me? Because he's from Middletown, Rhode Island. And I got a chance. I always said that. I wanted to say that to him. And I got the chance to say that to him, and I said it to him. And I was like, holy moly. I can't believe I get to say this to him. And he was bugged. He thought it was hilarious. He thought it was great. This is really cool. And he gets more away from his car, shakes my hand. And I'm like, I'm so glad to meet you. I'm a huge fan of the show. I love everything about it. It's so cool. As a performer and as a comedian, these things are really cool. Like all the bases you covered and haven't covered, and went different avenues comedically, and this wittiness you had. And he was like very thankful, and he was like, "Oh, did you guys have a good day today?" And I was like, "Yeah, we had a good day, right?" And I was like, "It could be even better if I can get on your show." And he was like, "Oh yeah, no problem, sure." He's like, "So you're an actor?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd like to. Yeah, I'm an actor. I'd love the show. I'd love to be on." He was like, "No problem. Love you. Yeah, sure. Come on." And I was like, "Are you serious?" He's like in his car, like with the door open, like, and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And he's like, "Yeah, Stage 17. Come by. No problem. Come on. Tell him Charlie sent you. Okay?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm coming." He's like, "Yeah, no problem. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you later." And the next day I did go by. I told my supervisor that I needed another Band-Aid, which was true. But when I did not come back for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, people were looking at me weird. But on my way there, I was pretty happy, and I was kind of looking nice because it was early in the morning still. And, you got to look presentable when you're serving this food. So I did, and I looked professional. So I talked to one of the stage hands, or one of the production assistants, and I was like, hey, this is Andre Warmsley, a friend of Charlie's. He said I can come by to the set. Just trying to see what's going on, and he was like, yeah, okay. Got Charlie's people, or somebody upstairs where they can talk to him right up there on the walkie-talkie, and invited me up, gave me a chair, gave me a seat. I got to sit in and see Glenn Howerton do a scene as Dennis Reynolds in an office building. Then after that, we went to the actual stage, and I got to see Charlie's room, Dee's room, Dennis and Mac's room. Got to see the bar. I got to see people that worked on the show that have been characters on the show, but that are also their stand-ins. I got to meet the directors, the makeup artists. I got to meet everybody. That was really cool, and they were very nice to me. And that to me was very, very important. So I have all these like weird connections, and since he invited me on the show and I got to be there, and after we got back from that other place, Charlie was coming out eating a banana, and I was talking to the director of photography, or the director, visual director, or whatever. I think it was assistant director, and I was talking to him, and I was like, "Oh, excuse me, man, it was great talking to you. It was great meeting you. I gotta go say what up to Charlie." And I was like, "What's up, Charlie?" He was like, "What's up, Dre?" And we shook hands, and I talked about like how I don't know if I'm gonna have a job if I get back, because I think that I haven't been back in a long time. They might they might be like, I don't think so. You haven't been here in a long time. And I talked to him, we talked about acting, and he was like, it's kind of fortuitous that you're here. And I was like, fortuitous? I was like, oh, yeah, it's fortune, it's meant to be. And it's like, yeah, it's really cool to you're a fan. He was like, oh, so, you said you're an actor. And I was like, yeah, I'm a little younger than you, and doing stand-up, and I've been in this, I've done that. I thought that was cool, because at the same time, like, where they started out was not too huge and glamorous, either. They understand where I'm at as a young actor, as as an actor. So I'm not that young, but I look young. So basically, kind of made a connection with him in Hollywood, which was really cool to me, and that was my connections and my stories. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and there's actually, I think, another one missing. I'm missing like a couple, but I did get to go on set, and I did get to meet them. And Rob, when I was sitting there watching on the screen the scene that they were doing, he sticks his head in and sees the guy that he met the previous morning sitting there, and it must have been like, who the fuck is this dude? Who are you? So I thank them, and a big shout out to the show, a big shout out to my mother, my father, my brother, big shout out to my friends, my family. So I actually just had an audition today for a talent agency, and that's very promising. They like me, so that feels good. And I have an audition for playing a French Special Forces officer. So I will, try to somehow get this part, and play some sort of French special officer. And I've got to do this French accent to be some sort of special forces commander. And and I have to listen to this accent as long as I can. So I've been studying that. So wish me luck on that audition, because I would love to play a Special Forces French guy in a movie with real guns, blanks though. So wish me luck with that. This is Andre Warmsley, and I know I was looking at myself the whole time. Gotta look at the camera, 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 look at the camera. Andre Warmsley signing out about my connections with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, meeting Rob McElhenney, meeting Charlie Day, sitting in one room away from Glenn Howerton as he's doing the scene as Dennis Reynolds. Didn't get to meet Caitlin Olsen, but I can't wait to. If I do, I can't wait to meet more of them and just run into them, people from the show again. Andre Warmsley saying hello to everybody, and thanks for listening to my story about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And this is actually the second take, because the first one had no sound. But January 21st, 11/18, Andre Warmsley, may the force be with you.